Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday Live with Alan and Greg. And tonight we have not one guest, but two guests. We have Dave and Olive. Olive is a little covered by Dave's name, but hello there, Olive.
Relaxing on our little Toy Story blankie, right?
Hey, Olive.
Okay. I think this is the first time we've had a dog serve
Really?
on our show.
Yeah,
Wow.
we've had Charlie. His brother.
Yeah, she brought Chewy, her dog. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I was trying to make fun of her. She's got like a puppet Charlie. A dummy.
A dummy named Charlie, but her dog Chewy showed up.
But Chewy and Wee Wee, or no, Chewy and Chewy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're all always welcome.
Definitely.
Well, I can't do it without her. I mean, she's the star of the show, so.
Yeah, she is. How old is Olive?
She's almost 4. She'll have a birthday
Great.
next week, right? Next week.
That's great. Okay.
That's
great.
Yeah, not so.
Well, she's a youngster still.
Yeah. She's her.
Sure.
Her sister's a bit older than her, but
I had a Schnauzer lived 17 years, named Angus, miniature Schnauzer, back in Arizona.
What breed?
Miniature Schnauzer.
Okay.
They're my favorite. I've had 2 of them in my life.
Oh, okay. All right. They tend to live pretty long, or?
Yeah, the other one lived be 14.
Okay.
He was even hit by a car once and swallowed a Super Ball. He had a rough life, but Angus was a tennis ball freak, tennis ball catching dog. Like I just run him ragged, but he's a really smart dog.
Yeah, these little poo mixes. They they're great. They're pretty bright and they're a lot of fun, but they're high maintenance, and I think they tend not to live I think the Maltipoo is averages 13 years.
There's a picture of Angus.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
So Olive has another dog that doesn't show up as much on the videos.
She has an older sister who is a cockapoo.
A cockapoo.
Riley. She's more mama's dog, and she has very little patience. I brought her on one video just because it was the dog tag, so I felt like I had to bring her in too, and she couldn't get out of the chair fast enough. She's just got no patience for this nonsense.
Yeah, well, I have 3 cats, and every now and then one will come wandering around my computer screen, and I'll pick them up and show them around. And
yeah,
like I said, they really have no patience for the video. I'm here for you to do something for me,
right?
All right, so let's take a look at our comments real quick. Todd, bright and early. He was 10 a.m., so I don't think he's hanging around. And Bad is saying hi.
Hey, Bad.
Hi, Dave. She's saying hi to everyone.
Not your Bad.
Zach is here. She's saying hi to me. Saying hi to Olive. And MJ. Hello, MJ.
Hey, MJ.
Olive runs a good show.
Yeah. Yes, she does.
Who's that?
All right. We got Williams Library all the way
from
William. Indonesia.
Yeah.
Read by Fred. Happy Monday,
Fred.
folks.
Hey, Fred.
Dave.
I'm sure Fred's going to have some questions for you.
Hey, MR. I think this is Brian's first time. I don't recall the name, but
he's a commenter. Yeah. Yeah, Brian is on a lot of lives.
Yeah.
It began as a mistake. Hey, everyone. Okay.
Now they're new. That's a new commenter to me.
I think so too. Always good to see new commenters. Angelia, hello. Read and reread. Okay. Well, Dave.
Wow.
if you have not watched our show, we're sort of a loose format here. We don't have a strict thing of what we do. The only thing I like to do is start off the show by asking about books people have read during the week or recently that you would like to highlight. So, as the guest, you get to start off with your current book picks.
I love how you phrase that as books people have read during the week. you realize, Greg, not everybody reads multiple books a week, right?
Yeah.
I am like the opposite extreme of you, Greg.
Oh,
I can tell you what I'm reading now.
Okay, that's good enough.
yeah.
So we were just talking. I think we were just talking about this last night. I think Alan was there. But what I am reading now, which I actually had no plan. Well, so I'm reading, basically reading two things right at the moment that I'm in the middle of. The Doors of Eden by Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Okay.
Gotten really into Adrian Tchaikovsky lately. And this, which I did not plan on reading, Dracula, which I'm not that far
I've got that on Kindle.
Sorry?
I've got Dracula on Kindle.
On your Kindle? Have you read it already?
No, I have not. Believe it?
You've never read Dracula?
No, I've seen his apartment in Dublin where he wrote it back in the 90s. I visited, but I have not read. No, I've read like other Draculas, but not his. I must admit.
Yeah, I never read it either. Like a lot of books, I'm ashamed to admit that I've never read it. But, and I had not planned to read it now. The only reason I read it was so that Netflix show is out now, right? This is long sorted, this is a long tortuous sequence of events here, but that Netflix show, the Fall of the House of Usher, is out, and so I want to watch the show. So I never read it, so I said, I should read this. So I just read the Fall of the House of Usher, and I was talking to another booktuber, and they told me that the current book, What Moves the Dead by Kingfisher, is like a retelling of the Fall of the House of Usher. Okay. So I went to the bookstore to get that book. And of course, that what always happens, right? When you go to the bookstore looking for one thing, while I was there, I saw this Carmilla, this old book Carmilla.
Yeah, that's like a pre-Dracula.
Yeah, which I had never heard of. I didn't know about it. And I'm like, oh, what's this? And so I picked it up, and this version has a really, really well written little intro in it. And it was talking about how, I was reading in the bookstore, talking about how it like predated Dracula by like 26 years and had a
There's an old movie of it too, old black and white movie that's kind of fun to watch.
Of Carmilla?
I interrupted you.
Go ahead. The Carmilla story?
Yeah, there's an old black and white movie of it.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go see if I can hunt that down, because I really liked the book.
Yeah, you probably like the movie then too.
I read the book years ago along with the other one, Vampire with a Y.
Okay.
That was done by Dr. Pedori, whatever, I think.
That was like one of the first stories, or
it was written the same weekend as Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein.
Okay. Were they in the same group?
Yeah.
They were in that same group.
That was the same group that said, let's tell each other ghost stories.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if that's the vampire one or something else.
Wasn't Frankenstein published it? It's like they always mention that 1818 version, don't they?
Yeah, that's the original version of Frankenstein. So I want to step back because I noticed you're reading Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Yeah.
And I've read two books by him. I've read Children of Time. The one about the spiders and the many generations. And I thought that was like a really fantastic use of science fiction, because it was just amazing how he built that spider culture up.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved that book. I love that book. I read the whole series. So I just finished reading the third one this year. I don't know if you know there's a third one now.
I have not read any of the other two yet.
Yeah. So I just finished this just recently, Children of Memory.
That's octopuses.
Sorry?
That's the octopuses.
No. What were you going to spoil all the stories there, Greg? No, that's book 2.
That's book 2.
Book 2, they're all worth reading. If you like Children of Time. Children of Time is definitely the best. But the Children of Ruin, which involves octopuses, but he's really good. He does like a couple different routes, so it's not just about that.
Okay.
But it was pretty good. And that one actually, each one of these was like a little bit different. That one actually was like a little bit, I don't want to call it horror, but it had like a little bit of a horror element.
That's cool.
Based on some of the life that they encounter. And so there was some stressful, scary parts in it. So that was pretty cool. And I like that almost as much as Children of Time. This one, Children of Memory, was, again, I would still recommend reading it. It's still worth reading, but not as good as either of the other two. It just went down a little bit more for me. It was a very, I don't want to give it away, but again, he explores multiple kinds of, he really pushes the boundary, exploring like what life could be and how fundamentally different, other kinds of life could be, not just like anatomically, but just basically in the way that they communicate and the way they even think.
Well, that's what he really did. So remember, he did with Children of Time is like, you really get an alien culture that's not to be insulting, that they're not people with fake ears, and
right. Yeah, he does a remarkable job of that. And so he continues to do that in these other books, but it's not just, like I said, he explores parallel, like he goes down, like has these like parallel plots going on that will converge, And so he's not just, he always explores some kind of new biological evolution, but then he also always explores some other kind of, really pushes the boundaries, exploring like some other kind of theoretical life. Okay. So they're all really cool. I think they're really neat. So those were the only ones that I had read by him. That's why I'm moving on to other stuff now.
Yeah, I had read one other novel. I think it was his first. It was a fantasy novel.
Oh yeah.
And I remember reading the first one and just saying, okay, that was fine, and not moving on to the rest of the series. But I have two other ones. The one he held up the door into Eden, I have that on Kindle.
Right.
And I have another one that he recently did. It's an audiobook. I'm trying to remember I think it's his most recent book. But it's not in the Children of Time series. It's something completely new, but
okay. He's been until 2 years ago when I was like looking at that Children, I'm like, oh, what is this Children of Time? And started thinking about reading that. I had never heard of him before. And but he's been writing for over a decade now, and he's been incredibly prolific. I mean, he's got that fantasy series alone
has like 6 books.
I think it's like 10 books now.
10 books, okay.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of. I think I don't know exactly how many it is, but it's up there. It's amazing how many books he's written. And he's written a number of other multi-book series too. It's been a lot in a very very short amount of time.
All right, so let me get through some comments, because I have a tendency to let comments build up. If you're like really old, you got to like, no. And if you're just saying hi to people, I'm not really going to read it out. People saying hi. How's everyone's holiday? Mine was good. I only had my sister-in-law and her boyfriend visit, so very laid back. And you?
Mine was great. I went to a small party, about, I don't know, maybe 10 people, with it was kind of a Southern soul food Thanksgiving with turkey and ham, but with greens, collard greens, and macaroni and cheese, and pecan pie. And then I got like a turkey breast for myself, and 2 cans of cranberry, 2 boxes of stuffing, instant mashed potatoes, and made like a bachelor second annual. And I just ate I eat Thanksgiving all weekend. Just watch football. Ohio State Buckeyes lost to Michigan, but other than that, Oregon won. What'd you do, Dave?
Nothing too exciting. We just went to my mother-in-law's, so it was just, it was, I don't know, I guess a dozen of us. So my own house is 5 people alone. So, we went down there. Yeah, about a dozen of us. We had we didn't have turkey. We don't eat turkey anymore on Thanksgiving. Do you need me to fix it?
No. Would you have a lasagna?
No, we had like a seafood gumbo soup thing and steak.
That sounds really. We had chicken marsala in our house, and that was really good.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, that's what we've had a number of Thanksgivings where now that the girls are all old, I have 3 daughters. Now that they're all older, we have a number of where the 5 of us stay here. But we stopped. Turkey is one of those things like we for years, right? We've eaten turkey. We've hosted Thanksgiving, made turkey, just because that's what you do, right? Everybody always has turkey, and that's what we.
If you're American,
right?
well, the thing is just because it's a tradition doesn't mean you have to do it.
Right.
I like to say it's like the tradition used to be that women weren't allowed to show their ankles.
No.
And I think,
or what you mean to say back in the good old days.
You're in trouble, Alan.
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, my wife looked at me a few years ago and she's like, "What? Like, none of us are really fans of turkey. Why are we eating turkey?" So like, I just deep fry. I have a deep fryer. I just deep fry chicken. Deep fry a couple chickens and fries and stuff everybody likes.
I could see having like a Chinese food on Thanksgiving. Have Chinese Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
why not?
We would totally do that in my house.
But I don't eat turkey that much, so that's why luckily I like it. So I just went overboard like I do everything else.
Hey, look, Alan, there's no rules on the holidays, man.
There are none. Not anymore. So Jim, Mystery and Mayhem. Thank you for showing up, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Right.
Zap saying hi.
Zap had ham.
Ham is delicious. Please hit the like button. Yes, MJ, thanks.
Spiral ham.
MJ is good about that.
Oh, it begins with I'm due for a reread of Dracula. Yeah, I've probably read it 3 times in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's an epistolary novel.
Yeah.
And I like epistolary novels.
Well, the thing is, I read it when I was in high school. So, back in like when you talk like the good old days, and then I listened to an audiobook version. And then listening to Michael K. Vaughan talk about how much he loved it, I had a Kindle version. I said, they're free. I'll read it. And it really is a good, I mean, you sort of think epistolary, that can't be good. But it is. I think whatever genius struck him to do it that way just perfectly works for that novel.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think of The Historian? I have a copy of that.
I have not read the Historian. I have not read that book.
That's a brilliant. A buddy read it with Stephanie Cohen, and we both liked it. But it's a brick. I've got it on Audible too. It's a real long book.
Bad at chicken pot pie. Someone else had chicken pot pie
for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Well, I hope it was a good one, like one of those Marie Callender ones,
or a Costco one. Costco makes good chicken pot pie.
The Marie Callender chicken pot pie is
good.
That Marie Callender chicken pot pie is really good too.
Yeah.
All right. Angelia, I never read Dracula either. She had a vegetarian Thanksgiving, you see?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Maybe you and I, Angelia, can buddy read it someday. Like next year if you want. Like maybe October or who knows.
All right.
It's next, MJ. It's next. I did get it that day when I went.
Okay, I'm gonna try to finish up on our comments so we can get on. What Moves the Dead is good. Everyone ready for Christmas? Have their tree up already?
Not yet.
My wife is in charge of the tree. I just take all the storage bins out of the rooms. Here you go, and take them down when she's done. All right. Go through. Trees up. Hell, bed zap goes great. All right. I'm just going to scroll through these pretty quick, unless they're saying something. Oh, fantastic. It begin with a mistake. Bad loves your T-shirt.
Oh, thanks,
Really?
man.
4 days
means-
until my
it means
book haul
cheers.
arrives.
It means
like-
cheers in Irish. If you didn't know.
Cheers.
Yeah, cilantro.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess William has a. Now, I saw your massive 67 book haul this morning. Dave. That
Yeah,
was,
that's all that did. It was good.
that was
I
a lot of books.
Well, you guys that are on the Read What You Own challenge, I'm just trying to poke you in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm only doing 25. But I'm
here's
mostly
MJ.
along.
4 likes, 16 watching. I'm not a mathematician. It's free, but it thanks you, MJ. You know, it's just the way it
Yeah.
goes.
So hit that like button.
Yes, I'll make an open invitation for a buddy read. All right, reading this life. I think it's because we are watching first. The likes will come in, I guarantee. All right. Oh, Nicole's Bookish Nook. Hello, everyone. Hello,
Oh, hey,
Nicole.
Oh, hey, Nicole.
Angelia, I'm fine with non-traditional food at Thanksgiving, but I'm always overruled.
Oh,
Seafood gumbo soup. That does sound. I mean, it just sounded so good.
Louisiana
It was
style. Yeah. I lived in Louisiana for a wee bit. That Baton Rouge, red wine.
All right, Nicole's Bookish. I just got done with physical therapy, so I'm sort of present but
Aw.
sore. Well, just sit back and relax.
Relax and enjoy the show.
Well, hello, Nim. Secret
Hey,
of
Nim.
Nim. All right. And I think we are going to be at the end of the comments real soon so we can talk about books. Cool, Alan. Let's buddy read Dracula next October.
Mhm.
Okay.
I might join you in for a reread then, too. All right. Best friends,
Okay.
Austin House, Olive. Okay. So, Alan, let's get on to what you've been reading.
Okay. I read, I've been like a reading fool. I don't sleep a lot. I take naps throughout the day, and I've been doing that for like decades. And I listen to audiobooks while I read, like especially this Satanic Verses. It's a masterpiece. It's really a humorous novel, much more funnier than I thought. And I wanted to immediately reread it. There's been a couple books in my life that I've done that to, like I've finished it and immediately reread it. But I'm going to wait to reread that with Greg next year. Then I read the first 3 books of this. So this is 2 novels in one book. So it was only like half of this. So I finished the Citadel of the Artark, Gene Wolfe, who Tom and LA Books turned me on to him like 3 years ago. So Gene Wolfe and now I'm enamored with Gene Wolfe. Greg and I are in the group read of what's it called? The End of the World.
End of the World Book Club.
Yeah, so we read
Oh,
And
I
then
want to
we-
read that.
Yeah, it's really good. It's you'll be able to see where 1984 came from.
Yeah.
But this is like basically different, totally different, the way it's written and everything. But we're doing it live on Wednesday, so I'm going to brush up on this, and I have the audio of it too. Then I'm currently reading. You ever hear of Kiki Friedman?
No.
He's like a funny mystery guy, but he's a musician. He's Jewish. He's from Texas. He likes to drink bourbon, smoke cigars, and he has a character named Kiki Friedman who's a musician and likes to smoke cigars, and it's just funny. It's like cleansing of the palate for me.
Hmm.
And then I picked up this thin book, 5 Dialogues of Plato, because I'm familiar with the Apology and Phaedo. So for the 25 book challenge, I thought I'd pick this up and knock it out.
For
Then
many
I'm
years.
going to read The Book Thief.
Hmm.
And I'm picking up the CDs in the library for this, but this has been on my shelf for a few years. So I'm all over the place.
Wow, you're almost as fast as a reader as Greg.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, I'm not a fast reader. I'm just retired.
And I'm basically retired too. I'm looking for a job currently.
That really helps your books. But the thing is, like, I read, it's like, well, I can take a nap and then during the day, and you know,
I've just
It
been
could be
getting
more.
lucky on reading some books that I've been looking forward to. I DNF'd Lincoln in the Bardo too. I was up to 114 on that before I DNF'd it this week. So I was reading that. But if I'm not like waking up and looking forward to reading a book, I'm not. Usually, I don't force myself. I don't know. I don't really DNF all that much, but anyway, your turn, Greg.
all right, my turn. I'm going to go through a couple more comments.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple comments directed at you, Dave. I'm
Okay.
going to come back to them in a minute after I get through some other ones. Nim was saying satanic versus ooh. Well, Alan and I will be doing a buddy read sometime around April or May. Now, the reason is I'm on a project where I'm going to be. Now, Dave, have you ever heard of the Great Courses?
Yeah.
I'm re-listening to all their courses on the 5 great religions.
Oh.
The 5 main. And after I do a course, I'm going to start reading books that are associated, like fiction books that are associated with that religion.
Okay.
So I'm going through Buddhism right now, and then I'm going to read like the Dharma Bums and Siddhartha
Cool. That's my favorite Kerouac.
by Herman Hesse. And once I get to Islam, I'm going to be reading. One of the ones I'm going to be reading is the Satanic Verses.
Yeah, but see, it's more than Islam. I mean, it's a lot of Hindu because it's like these Indian characters, but Christianity gets hit. He hits all the religions.
Well, you know, that's why I'm more or less doing these in order. I'm sort of switching Hinduism and Buddhism around. But
yeah, but it's a good one to pick for Islam.
I'll read it with you if you'll have me.
Okay, sure,
absolutely.
And you can go slow enough.
Now the one thing I don't know, Alan, if you'll agree, is that you really do you should know a little bit about Islam.
Yeah,
before you go into the book,
right?
To get all the references that he's really getting.
Oh yeah, I agree.
We're all old enough to remember when that first came out and the big
Khomeini. Yeah, I told
big hoopla when the bounty was out on that guy's life.
It was
the fatwa. The fatwa.
It was. I was working at Crown Books when that came out.
Yeah.
So I was working at a bookstore, and you know, I remember taking it out on the shelves. You know, because we had these huge trucks that delivered new books on a Monday night. The Satanic Verses. This is a nothing book. And just put it on the shelf, and lo and behold,
yeah,
it became
a great writer. I want to read what's that? Mother's Children. Midnight Children.
That's a really good one.
Won the Booker Award.
All right, I'm going to get to the questions for you, Dave, but I'm going to show you what I've been currently reading.
Okay.
And this is Clara and the Sun by Katsu Ishiguro.
Okay.
Have you heard of this one?
I haven't heard of that one. A few months ago, I read Never Let Me Go.
I read that one too.
That was the first time I've tried him.
And he's really interesting. I mean, he's won the Nobel Prize in Literature. Technically, this is a science fiction book because it's narrated from a robot's point of view.
Really?
Right. But I don't think science fiction fans would enjoy it too much because he's not focusing on normal what you'd focus on a science fiction novel. And the basic premise is it's narrated by a robot named Clara, who's called an artificial friend. And she's supposed to be a companion for like rich children.
Huh.
Wow.
Well, she's intelligent. because it's told from her point of view. So she talks somewhat about her physical limitations about walking and like, can she walk up a mountain path and did she have enough stability? So you don't really get a picture of her in your mind other than the girl who buys her says, you look like a French girl.
Huh.
And she's very observant, but what he does well is gets this other point of view that you can say she's not quite getting humanity right down perfect.
Yeah.
There are these gaps.
So you're enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it. Steve Donahue thinks this book is a piece of crap, but you know, I don't think he's watching. So sometimes Steve Donahue is wrong. Can we say that?
I don't know if you're allowed to say that.
Not very often.
But I don't think it'll come down to be like a great masterpiece of a book, but it's entertaining.
Yeah.
And
what's the title again?
Clara and the Sun.
Clara and the Sun. Okay.
Of course, Clara is the name of the robot, and she is a solar-powered robot. So obviously, she has quite an affinity for the sun. Because if she does not get sunlight, she basically eventually will power down. So pretty good stuff.
All right.
All right. I think that's the only one I'm going to mention, so we can get back to some of the comments. Because if you watch my wrap up, you'll basically see the books that I've been reading. All right. Let's get to a question read by Fred. Dave, does your family read? If so, what does your wife read? Your kids?
Yeah. So it's a good question. So my youngest daughter does when she has time. She's senior in high school, and she's like, you know, AP classes and all that. She's like super busy. But when she has time on her off time, she reads like young adult mysteries. My next daughter doesn't. She doesn't. One of the twins, she doesn't read at all. The other one is a pretty big reader. She reads a ton of fantasy. She's reading that Fourth Wing series right now.
Oh yeah, I'm going to read that with MJ.
She's loving it. MJ is still waiting for her book, and my daughter already.
Yes, she is. You know it. Yeah.
Yeah, MJ. I think she ordered a special edition.
Yeah.
And
the latest was supposed to come this Sunday.
Yeah.
Wasn't supposed to come to like January 17th.
Yeah, I think at this point she's supposed to get it by like next July or something.
Yeah.
Well, I told her Costco has a stack of them. See,
I know. I'm not getting Demon Copperhead. I ordered Demon Copperhead for me and my father to buddy read, and I ordered a copy for him, sent to him. We're not getting it till next year either, till like April, I think.
Huh.
I could have just went out and bought the damn thing. But
anyways.
See,
my advice to MJ is that if you ordered it before the Read What You Own challenge, you can count it as a book that you own. You should not let up. But now here I'm going to say something else. If you cancel your order and go to Costco, I would still count that as a book that you own because you tried to order it first.
Yeah, I would too.
That's fair.
I'm just saying that but it's been described as dragon porn.
Dragon porn, geez.
Dragon porn.
I should go get my dragon T-shirt.
I don't know. I mean, it's just
supposedly there's some spicy parts.
Spicy. Now, is it spicy with people and dragons, or
I don't know.
You don't know.
Now it sounds like Marlon James. Sounds like Marlon James now.
I don't know. I don't really have a strong passion to read it. If it comes up on the BookTube prize, I don't think it will come up on the BookTube prize. I would read it, but other than that, I might just give it a pass.
Yeah, it's one of those ones like I feel like I should read just because everybody's talking about it, you know. But
Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
Here's a question, Dave and Olive. Are you an e-reader?
No.
Oh, I'm getting back into it. I have a Fourth Wing on ebook.
Yeah.
And from Libby too. So
I
I'm
don't know.
already actually.
I mean, I get it. I get all the advantages and everything, but I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I at one point a few years back, I said, okay, I'm gonna read one full book on Kindle and to give it a fair try. I read Kafka's The Trial. I read that through on Kindle, and I don't know. It wasn't for me. I don't know.
Well, you know,
I like reading my Kindle at night in my bed, with the lights are dimmed,
Yeah.
so I don't need bright light to read it. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
well, what happened to me is that I actually started e-reading before the Kindle. There was a Dell PDA with Microsoft Reader.
Oh.
And what happens is, like, my wife and I like to go out to dinner on Friday night. And usually, at least she did more in the past when she was younger. She liked to go to stores and shop, And she got really tired of me going, "Are you done shopping yet? Are you done shopping yet?" So I bought this PDA, and she called it the marriage saver because in front of the store was a bench. You could sit down on the bench and read my book.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of going, "Are you done shopping? You go shop some more," So that's how I got into it, because it was just kind of a convenient thing for me.
Yeah, my wife is almost an exclusive. She reads like not at all like I read. She reads like the heavy stuff, like All the Light You Cannot See and Wally Lamb and stuff like that.
Okay.
And,
I like both those. I like Wally Lamb. Yeah. He's Come Undone.
Yeah, she's read all those.
Yeah, I like that.
But she's almost exclusively e-reader. She loves her Kindle, but
I'm slowly turning mostly Kindle.
Yeah.
If you notice, like someone mentioned it, I think it was you, Alan, and on my wrap-ups for the Read What You Own, I'm at 20 books, and like 2 of them or 3 of them have been physical paperbacks. All the rest have been on Kindle.
Huh.
But I get it. Some people just do not like holding this device and calling it a book.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to have the physical thing in my hand, and I need to put it on the shelf when I'm done. It's like such a sense of accomplishment, and
well, I've noticed, especially in the past few years, that my eyes don't do so well with physical prints. Especially some of the older books where the print is really, really small.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having to buy those reading glasses from Costco to get to the print.
Oh, so you'll just adjust the font size with your Kindle?
Yeah, I've noticed in the morning my font size is smaller. As the day goes longer, I'll start increasing the font size as my eyes get tired.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
William, glasses all my life. Go ahead.
No, like Alec, for whatever reason, last time I went to the DMV, I can still legally drive without glasses.
Yeah, I've got bifocals.
Yeah.
I'm really myopic. Blind as a bat.
MJ, Carmilla is to Dracula as we is to 1984. That's
a good analogy.
Yeah,
that's a good analogy.
So now, since you just read it, Alan, how would you compare we to 1984?
Well, like are there screens in we, like screens that you have to mandatory exercise, and like you get a lot of time to eat, a lot of time to have sex, like everything's regimented. What else? 1984. Really, almost anonymous relationships. Nobody's really close. And I mean, to get close is unusual. And it's almost like you have to keep it a secret.
But you can see that the dystopian society that Zimyatin created, and how George Orwell built on that.
Okay.
To come out. And now obviously, when Zamyatin wrote his book in 1920, the Russian Revolution had just really happened a few years ago. Communism was just getting into full gear, but he saw how restrictive they would eventually become.
Hmm.
Now, one of the funny things, now this is not a huge spoiler, is that early in We, it's mentioning that they're very time regulated in the society. I mean, you wake up time, go to work time, you have break time. And if they really get upset when you do not follow the time schedule.
Hmm.
And I had to stop reading and say, well, I actually kind of like people who are timely. I mean, it's to the extreme in We, but I'm saying, wouldn't it be nice if you set something for 3:00 and everyone did it at 3:00 like they were supposed to?
You wouldn't like Indian time. I live in a Native American community, and I mean it's an inside joke. Native Americans they're always late. The time you always kind of expect it, but. Go on, Greg. I interrupted.
No, I'm saying that's really, because you haven't read it, but that's where it goes. Now, someone, I forgot who, liked We more than 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been Gareth.
It could have been Gareth.
Yeah.
I think 1984 is a better book, but I think the bleakness of 1984, the utter lack of hopefulness in that book, really. No, Dave, you've read 1984, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not spoiling anything. Saying that's a really bleak book.
Yeah.
That people We is not quite as bleak as 1984.
Okay.
Now here's Todd. Like Michael K. Vaughan, do any of you guys do vintage comics? And if so, what were your favorites? I'm thinking none of you have old comics, though.
I think I have some in an attic in my father's house in Phoenix in plastic. I have some old Spider-Man, and I have old Superman and old Batman even. And I have one called Howard the Duck. I have like #1, the first Howard the Duck. And I think I might even have some Archie comics. But there were the baseball cards.
I have the first appearance of Rocket Raccoon hanging up on the wall over there. It's an old Hulk, Incredible Hulk, 272 or something.
Yeah, I never really got into comics except briefly Monster Comics.
Mm.
And I did buy one of those huge omnibuses of the old. I think they're Marvel Monster Comics.
Okay.
And
the hardcover. They're hardcover.
They're hard. These are the giant monsters that come out and do it. And I thought it's so funny. Like they have like a medieval Chinese giant dragon who's green, like Zim Yang Fu or something, and he's wearing green underwear. And I'm going, okay, you guys are really sort of nervous about body parts back then, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I like the color. That's color green.
But no, all the giant monsters had flesh-colored underwear.
Oh,
that's probably when the Comics Code Authority was at their height.
Probably so.
Scared the crap out of people. Yeah, so neither of you guys are comic guys? Yeah.
I'd like to get back into it. There's still a few comic stores open in Portland. I know one closed down in Chinatown, but there's one in my neighborhood, not within walking distance, but every time I go by it on a bus, I go, damn, I need to stop in there. But, when you go into a comic store, I'm going to buy some, and
yeah,
I'm on a book challenge for one, but I'll make it in there someday.
Yep.
What's up?
I went through a period where I read like for a while I was reading like 80-90% comics, and I like a lot more than books, but that's not the case anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's a whole nother universe, a lot of good stuff, and it's not just Superman and Spider-Man. There's a lot of good horror, sci-fi, and everything in the comic world.
You'll see it next week or the week after. I'm reading a book that has some of the old 50s Vault of Horror comics.
Yeah.
And you read them, and they're like you said, the comics code makes them remarkably tame.
Yeah.
Even though if you think about it, they have reference to like eating bodies, but it's all off stage. And
yeah. Oh God, the stuff that comes out now, some of these titles, anything the most depraved things you could possibly imagine are splashed on the pages there.
Have you read this novel, Dave?
No, I have not.
You would like it, I bet.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's all about comics. See,
write that down.
Captain Marvel in the background, and he's punching Hitler in the face. You can't really see it, but it's Captain Marvel. It's their version of Captain Marvel.
Right.
But that's like part of the sub story.
Yep. And that's actually based on a real comic where I think it was Captain America, Captain Marvel.
Captain America. It was Captain America, yeah.
Captain really did have him punching Hitler.
Yeah, you can get it online. If you Google Captain America punching Hitler, you'll come up with the comic. But that was a great book. I really like Chabran.
Yeah, well, we have to. We're doing a Chabran book with Mark sometime this year.
Yeah, Wonder Boys.
Wonder Boys.
Yeah, I'll thank you again for sending it to me, Greg. That was one of the books you sent me.
Yeah,
I think even last year.
It was last year. Early this year, I think.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Alan and I created the group for everyone to enjoy 1984, and now we are out into a bigger group, and we read We. Yeah, bad. That's Wednesday.
Yeah, that was good, Bad.
Angelia is talking about Kinky Friedman ran for the governor of Texas.
Yeah, he's a blast from the past. He does the character does cocaine in here. He's a private detective, but Abby Hoffman is in here. It's like a wild story, and it reads really fast. So it's a palate cleanser after the Satanic Verses and Gene Wolfe sci-fi. I needed something really quick and just funny, and
Yeah. So let's go through some comments. Here's an interesting one. What is considered fast reading?
I read at 1.45.
That's your audible.
Like the audio, but I read along with it too, and I can even read faster, without audio. But I get more, it's just when I say I need all the help I can get, I'm not really kidding. It's not like I'm really bad dyslexic, but when I type or when I write, I switch my M's and B's up. I don't know why. And so I don't know. Sometimes I'll have a football game muted in front of me while I'm reading with the audio. And take a break, stretch, look up. But I read at 1.45. What do you guys?
Not me. When I listen, I listen. I do like audiobooks. When I listen at 1.1, and that's not reading along. Even just listening, that's as fast as is comfortable for me.
Yeah. Well, for me, audio, I think the optimum is around 1.5. And sometimes I can go up to 1.7 depending on the narrator. Yeah. Some narrators are just naturally slower and you can bump it up. But when I read a physical book, I really top out around 60 pages an hour. And that really depends. It has to be the right kind of book to get 60 pages an hour. Now, I know like Steve Donahue says he can do 150 pages an hour.
150, damn.
No, I think he's at the top level of.
Yeah, he's got like a special ability. I really have a newfound respect after our interview with Steve. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, he'll read several books a day.
And his eyes
Yeah.
don't get tired, I guess. Like my eyes at the end of the day get tired and stuff.
Mine do too.
Yeah.
After about like 10 o'clock, if I'm reading most of the day, I have to stop. And Steve
Right.
goes, no, doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, I get a little like, oh,
So Nim is not an e-reader. She is a dedicated physical book reader. I think that's cool.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
all right. Yeah.
It's all right. And Nim, 1884, has been on her TBR since high school. Maybe someday, Nim, it's an interesting book. You would do a great review. Siddhartha is, I've read it at least twice too.
Yeah, I've read it.
Hmm.
I like it.
It's
The Buddha.
Well, it's not really the Buddha, but it is.
Yeah, the story kind of the Buddha.
Oh, here's Zap. I'm doing the great courses on Buddhism right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Zap.
Yeah. Are you doing there's two versions from Great Courses. One is 12 lectures and one is 24. I'm doing the 24. But I happen to, because when you buy it from Audible, you have a choice and they're the same price. I go, well, I'll do the 24 for the same price.
Hell yeah.
Almighty Om. After
Hey,
Islam, Reza Aslan has a great book called No God But God, The History of Islam. Maybe I'll pick that up.
Yeah, Greg. You should. Yeah, Paul recommended it. It's bound to be good.
Yeah, I've read two other books by him.
Oh yeah. Well,
That he's pretty good. One was The Historical Jesus.
oh, he wrote that one. Okay, yeah, I remember you do reviewing that.
No, that was a different book that I reviewed. There's
Oh,
a number of books on the Historical Jesus.
oh, okay. My fault. I stand corrected.
You're making me want to visit Gene Wolfe again, Alan. And
Yeah,
if you figure it out, Plato's Timaeus, you're a wiser man than I.
Ah,
I don't think I've read Timaeus since university.
I remember Brian making a comment on a live stream. It was MJ's or Garrett's about Gene Wolfe. So yeah,
Yep.
but you want a buddy read that Brian Earth of the New Sun when I get it. I've got it on Audible already.
So here's Bad Dave. Nim and I are reading Gothic romance. How do you feel about Gothic stories?
I don't know which one you got in mind, Bad.
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, the thing is, Gothic romance and Gothic story can be interpreted in two different ways. There is a romance, really romance novels that are called Gothic, which are just romance stories set in medieval castles or something like that. And then you have the old Gothic horror stories like
Elizabeth Gaskell.
no, she's not Gothic.
Yeah, she's got a whole book of Gothic stories. I've got it on
She might have a book, but she's mostly just regular Victorian.
Yeah, it's true. But she does have Gothic. It's called Gothic Stories.
Okay.
Go ahead. I interrupt.
Bless you. I'm thinking more of the Monk by Matthew Lewis is the ultimate Gothic horror story.
The Monk.
Now, Dave, have you ever read The Monk?
I'm making a whole list here. You guys are killing me.
Now, The
Matthew
Monk
Lewis?
it's like 1840s or something like that. And it was written by someone in the English clergy who really did not like Catholicism very much. There's a lot of it, but it has nuns doing some very bad and non-nunnish things and really scandalous. Had some cross-dressing.
You're starting to sell me on this, Greg.
Well, the thing is, it starts off about a very pious monk, And everyone goes to him and say, oh, he's such a great pious monk. And then there is a young monk that comes. And one of the things the monk does is he loves this picture of this beautiful woman. He says, oh, she's the image of the angel. And then this young monk comes to visit. He goes, that boy, really intriguing. It turns out it's this girl in drag. Or not drag. I guess women dressing as men is still called drag. I don't know. But it's a woman dressing up as a man. And she lures him down the path of sin and into Satan's arms. And this is absolutely delightful.
This sounds delicious, this book.
It's old, it's outdated, but you're loving every minute of it.
Well, I'm definitely going to look that one up.
So MJ, I snatched that up on a Kindle deal, Greg.
The monk? Is she talking about the monk?
No, this is like long time ago. We're outdated. I don't remember what we were talking about. Zap, is Dave on Goodreads?
I am. I'm pretty delinquent with it, but yeah, we're book blather on Goodreads as well. So I gotta update it. I haven't updated our reads in a while.
Yeah, I have a whole video on why I gave up on Goodreads, and it came to it that I entered some audiobooks and Goodreads just deleted them.
Yeah, I remember that video.
And I said,
video, Greg.
They did it twice, and I said, after you do it twice, I don't trust you anymore.
Right.
And now I'm on Library Thing, which I think is a lot better. Now, the Library Thing is more about collecting books and having, a catalog of your real books. But it works very, very well also tracking what you've read.
It's called Library Thing?
Library Thing.
It's a good thing I had a pen on my desk tonight.
And also good about Library Thing is they're completely free and they don't have ads.
But it kind of acts as like a database for your book collection.
What their business is they create a library catalog for small libraries. And they just have a feature that you can enter your personal library. But since you're not using it as a real library, it's just free.
Okay.
And they actually have a very good catalog because you can check with Amazon for any book on Amazon. Any of the Amazon, you can go to Amazon Canada, Amazon UK. You can check the Library of Congress and lots of other little libraries. If you have this book that no one else has, you can find a record of it, usually in someone's library.
I just want to show Greg this. I haven't read it yet. I never October since October 2021. I've been wanting to read it.
So Al, I'm a great fan of the great courses on Buddhism, Reading the Divine by Huxley, and more Vignetta, but so similar. Oh, Angelia, I like Clara and the Sun. I'm going to reread Never Let Me Go as part of Remember December. I was only 3 to 4 years old when that book came out. I heard how the folk singer Cat Stevens made an ass out of himself by supporting the call for the author's death. Yeah, that's talking about
Satanic Verses.
Satanic Verses.
Yeah.
Yep. Good one, William.
Yep.
That's a good comment.
It is a good comment. And you know something? No one hears about Cat Stevens anymore.
You mean
other than his old music, pre-Islamic music days?
Yeah.
No one pays any attention to him.
Want to hear something about Cat Stevens? Here go.
Satanic Verses. Oh my. Okay. When in grad school, there was a 24-hour continuous read aloud of the Satanic Verses when the fatwa came out.
Wow.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, down in the heart of Texas down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Angelia is.
My God, the drama with that book. It should be here on Sunday. That's the Dragon Porn book, I think.
Oh, the
Dragon Porn.
fourth
It's,
one
yeah, it's Dragon Porn.
next July. Oh wow, you're really behind, Greg.
I am. I'm going to buddy read that satanic verse. Already, we've got like you, me, Bad. There's one other person. That's you, Dave. So we got a whole group going.
Yeah, it's a
That'd
great
be fun.
book. One of the best books I read all year. And I read War and Peace this year too. So that and Satanic Verses or The Recognitions. Greg and I read that. That's
We
a
did.
Great book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's definitely counting that book.
Oh yeah.
Here's the name Dragon Porn. Cool.
Right. MJ's got a Discord on the Fourth Wing.
Oh, that was an invitation. Whoever wants to with me. Which one are you doing, Bad? I don't know. I might have missed that. So you might have to post it again.
Satanic Verses has one of the greatest openings I've ever read in fiction. Two guys fall out of a plane. This is on the first page. A bomb goes off in a plane, and they fall out, and they live, and that, etc.
Yep. So reading the Fourth Wing will connect me with the younglings.
Yeah.
You are a youngin', Emma J.
I guess. Agnes, people and people, dragons, dragons, at least in the people and people, dragons, and dragons, at least in the. I think she's talking about the porny part in the.
It's like Marilyn James in Black Leopard, Red Wolf.
And then we can take a Chandler Morrison break.
Oh,
That's over my head.
You
Who's
heard of
Chandler?
Chandler Morrison, Dave?
No. Do you, Dave?
yeah. He writes. I don't know too much of his stuff, but he wrote he writes some extreme stuff. He wrote.
He
this book
does
called-
really extreme.
Yeah. He wrote.
Horror
wrote
porn. Yeah.
He wrote this Dead Inside.
Dead Inside.
Oh, that book, that guy. Yeah, okay. I know him now.
Actually, in terms of the quality of the writing, I mean, I thought he got unfairly treated in a lot of reviews. I think he writes well, but like, I just didn't understand the point of the craziness in the book, like.
It's pushing the envelope. How far can you take it? Now, the one that came up by the time is, have you ever heard of Samuel R. Delaney's Hog?
Yes, I haven't read it, but I know of it.
I read the first few chapters, and each chapter was really the same as the other chapter.
Okay.
And it's just very violent pornography. And I'm going, yeah, I can one or two chapters is fine, but
Yeah, I heard about it through Allie's channel.
I was planning to try that at some point just because I heard so much about it, but you think I shouldn't? It's not.
well,
worth it.
first of all, Samuel R. Delany is actually a really good writer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever read him before.
No.
Well. He grew up starting writing in the 60s. His first book was published like 21 or 22. Absolutely brilliant. He's black and he's gay. And so he really kind of felt that ostracizing this, like I'm really outside the norms of society. But it only really started showing after he was an established author. And I think what Ali was saying is that he wrote Hog, at least for himself, at first, because he felt so ostracized, saying, well, something? I bet there can be worse than being black and gay alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Obviously, he was living a life that I never had to leave. But we are awesome. Who else has done a Chandler marathon of all his books? You and Nim bad. Now, I will be reading one with those two ladies. He did a horror western or splatter western.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, that's a whole series of books on Amazon. Like they have like 5 or 6 or more splatter westerns.
Yeah, I know the series you're talking about. I forget the name of it.
Oh, wait a second. Yeah, drop me off at a bookstore and check me up in an hour. Are you into fourth? They're still talking about Fourth Wing, Nim. Are you into Dragons and Fantasy? Dave, I'm with you on physical books. Yeah, I got to catch up on we're really far behind on my comments.
Okay, go ahead.
I still have not gotten an e-reader. I have, however, occasionally downloaded a short ebook.
I just sneeze again.
The yellow wallpaper to my iPad.
That's a good story.
It is. I'm actually going to be our Gothic horror book group is doing that in February.
Okay.
No, I've only read the short story, The Yellow Sign, out of that collection. But we'll be doing the whole one. Talking about the Gothic romances.
Excuse my allergies.
Oh,
Brad says, I want to read the book Yellowface so bad.
I've heard about that book.
I've heard about it. I've heard some people really love it, and some people are just going, it's just okay. So definitely try it. Medium John, I simply love my e-readers, much easier on my eyes, and I love the stats. Dark Violet Dreams. Hi, everybody. Well, hello there, Emily.
Hey, Emily.
Is your name right?
I am.
Are you back, Emily, or what?
I came right in when you said you like people who are timely. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The thing is, I'm not timely with the comment because that's done at 8:41.
Yeah.
It's now 9:07.
You're quite untimely with the comments.
I'm on time
Right,
with the comments.
that might be
You're
my
talking
fault.
so much.
I know.
Change people to humans doing rather than our natural state than human beings. Saying hi to Emily. Saying hi. Saying hi. People saying hi. I'm skipping over a lot of the people saying hi. Yeah, excited for the Gothic Hearts Challenge. I don't think I know that challenge.
I don't either. What's that about? What's that about, Nim?
I don't know. You can leave a comment. Almighty Ohm, Brave New World after we.
That'd be cool.
Now, we did do a pick of Children of Men, but we don't have to stick with that. I kind of want to go to Brave New World first because that's more in line with what we've been reading, and then maybe break out to Children of Men a bit later.
Is Al in our Voxer group?
What? I
Is
don't think Al is in the Voxer group.
Well, if you want to be in our Voxer group, Al, Voxer, me, or Greg.
Yep. My December haul includes End of the Story by Louise Swanson. It's like a variation, updated version of Fahrenheit 451. I have not heard of that one.
Oh, that's interesting.
Not heard of it. All we need is Lewis, M, and Nim. Also, Chris. Olive is so cute. She's very good just sitting there with you.
She is very good. Yeah. She's a good girl.
I know my cats would be up and running around. Olive is precious, always makes me smile. Saying hi to Emily. Thank you. Saying hi. Elf Quest Comics novelization was one of my first big person books. This Al.
Oh, I had one of those.
I've heard of Elf Quest, but I don't think I've actually read one. Zap 1.4 audio speed is about 150 words per minute.
Well, that's pretty good.
1.5 is so fast. I honestly don't go over 1.25. I run about 40 pages an hour physical.
Yeah, I do the 145 because that's like the pace I can read at. I use audiobooks along with like reading.
Yeah, I'm here with Nim. She says it's all up to narrator speed for me. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, maximum 1.7 usually.
I bet I read faster. Like a book like this, I won't use audio with, of course.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is I don't like drive in a car, so I don't use audiobooks for like Dean Koontz or for where the crawdads sing. I wouldn't use audio for that because it's a good read. If you know what I'm saying. Go ahead, Greg.
Yep. So almighty. All focus seems to speed up reading. Speedier audiobooks help keep focus and focusing and just skimming words rather than pronouncing them in your head. The only problem is when you're doing really fast audio, if your mind blinks for a second, so much has gone by.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's just a normal speed, you blink, you usually pick it up. I'm going to read that book, You Have Me, Alan, for the Read What You Own by Jane Joyce. I think she's
portrait.
Portrait. Okay. I thought okay. You said not to start with portrait though.
Well, yeah, that's okay. That's okay for bad because portrait kind of stands on its own. And I advised her to read chapter 5 first. That's like the hell scene with the priest, the fire and brimstone, and the gnashing of teeth, and all that, and then go back and read the book. But that's my advice for reading portrait.
So Al, Zealot was the Aslan book about Jesus. Yes, that is the name of the book, and it's a very good one too. I think the 12 courses by Malcolm David Eckel. That is the same author that I'm doing the 24 courses on. I just think he had room to put twice the material in. Todd, I'm totally a 100% physical book reader. I tried the e-reader stuff, but didn't like it for many reasons. I look at screens a day, books provide an escape from that.
Yeah.
Well, the only issue I can say is that the Kindle screen really isn't the same as a laptop screen or a phone screen. It's just a lot more like paper. But I understand why some people just love physical books. And MJ says, I totally get that. I couldn't recommend anything NIM. It is far better. NIM is far better at Gothic literature. Oh, man, I have a lot of comments. Take a look at the tech course in Axial Age. Very great paired with Buddhism. Totally agree.
I'm going to ask Bad. I guess I'll ask her here, but I'm going to box her if she was brought up Catholic. Because if she was, she's going to get a lot out of portrait, But go ahead, Greg.
Let's go. The Monk is amazing Gothic horror. Bad. Yeah, she's talking about The Monk by Lewis.
I'll have to check that out.
Okay, The Monk sounds good to me. And Bad, you can get that on your Kindle Scribe for free. It's public domain, written in 1840-ish. Yeah, saying hi. That sounds like banned book material. Cool. Oh, they would totally ban The Monk nowadays. Edie Lewis and Regina love The Monk too. I love Regina and Lewis. Great channels for Gothic recommendations. Do you own any banned books? Nim, she's not. Well, let's talk a bit about banned books.
Okay.
Since they just brought it
Shall
up.
we? Uh-oh. Let's see.
Now I am in Virginia, and I've mentioned this before that when I moved here, we had a Democratic governor, but a Republican got in. Basically, on the coattails of saying parents should be allowed to tell their students they don't have to read Toni Morrison's Beloved.
Oh man, great novel.
it just seems to be a huge surge of people trying to ban books in America. And from what I know is like it's really not a huge number of people in the country. There's like a dozen people who are responsible for like 80% of the banned books in this country.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, is that right?
What?
Is that right?
That's what they say in the news. I haven't followed through, but we have a woman here in Virginia who lives in Spotsylvania County, which is the county that I live in, who has a mission to ban a book every week. She goes to the library reading books that she's going to hate so she can ban them.
Yeah.
Requesting to get banned.
Gives her an excuse to read them.
And she says, well, these books are so I can just see her. This book is so disgusting. Oh, this page is really disgusting. Oh, what's even more disgusting? Let's ban it.
Hey, so
Let me
the
see
month,
what other disgusting ones they have in here.
Yeah.
so the month, let me interrupt you for a second. The month was written by Matthew Gregory Lewis.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
they have the ebook and the audio
Yeah.
for free on Libby.
Go for it if you got time. All right. I have Catcher in the Rye and Clockwork Orange. Yeah, I'm going to be participating in the 24 banned books in 24. Trying to read 24 banned books.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go for books that have been banned over history. I'm not going to go for the current list of banned books. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the 20th century when they first started banning, like Lolita. We have the Satanic Verses. We're going to have Ulysses and so forth.
Yeah.
Oh, what? A Court of Thorns and Roses is not your style of book, Greg?
No, not really. But it should not be banned either. Either way, I have it should not be banned because someone wants to read it. Alan loved the book of Clockwork Orange. I wonder if Dave read it too.
Yep, that's a good one.
Now, here's the question, Dave. When did you read A Clockwork Orange?
Decades ago.
Oh, yeah. Me and Dad, yeah, like she said, Buddy read it a few months ago with Floss. I turned them on because they hadn't read it yet, so I turned them on. Both of them really loved it, and they hadn't seen the movie yet either.
Now, the reason I ask is that when I first read the book in high school, it was missing the final chapter of the book. And that was intentional, that the American publishers didn't like the final chapter of the British edition. So they just cut it out. So when Stanley Kubrick made the movie, he only read the American version of the book. And the British version is a vastly different ending and a vastly different interpretation of the character.
Really? I have to look into this.
Well, that's what I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read it. But
I have posters. I have two different posters of Clockwork Orange. One is a big one, and it's an original when it was rated X at first. It's like it's a Hollywood poster.
Yeah.
But that's how much I like the book. I love Anthony Burgess. He was a great Joyce fan. He wrote a book called Rejoice about Joyce. He loved Finnegan's Wake. Anthony Burgess. Anyway.
All right. So now, Dave, it's interesting. I mean, you probably don't remember it, but no. How do I put this? the character of Alex has a change in the last chapter.
Yeah, he's a wee bit of a change.
Yeah, I don't want to say anymore, but it's
Yeah.
because that would spoil it. But it's like, how would you, if you just saw the movie or the American, you would say Alex is the incarnation of evil in human form, sort of. But if you read the British, it's like, well, maybe that's not true. So, Angelia, now I was in Texas in grad school. This happened in Richmond, Virginia. I got lured to Texas shortly after. That's when she's talking about reading satanic verses.
Oh, yeah.
I
enjoyed
you, Dave and Olive.
And Julia, I really enjoyed Richmond, Virginia. The brief time I spent there.
Hog sucks, repetitive and boring. No,
Yeah.
Don't talk about the All Right book.
I don't remember what
was that a reference to.
That's why I need to be more timely on the.
You're catching up. You're only 15 minutes behind.
Okay. I'm scared to read Hog, and I've read way worse than Chandler Morrison. Okay, Nim. I'm going to have to kind of disagree a little bit. Chandler Morrison. No, I've only read Dead Inside. You sort of just dismiss that book as being, okay, this really isn't happening. It's just too over the top. It's not realistic. Whereas with Hog, you get that sneaking suspicion that maybe this stuff really happens somewhere, and it's a lot creepier that way. Bless you, Alan. Sneezing. Hog is the #1 disturbing, disgusting book, Nim, so far. What I've read so far.
Well, now I have to read it.
Greg is joining us in Western by Morse. Yes, I am. Sometime in 2024. Dave, with a 67 book haul recently, just how many books do you think you have?
God, if you have to think about it, you need a calculator?
It's a couple thousand.
Wow, cool. Wow.
I'm not sure how many exactly.
Yeah, I have all my bookshelves, and I've never counted them.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't think I've ever had at one time as many as Greg, but back in grad school, and I've lost, unfortunately, I lost like all my possessions, not once, but twice. And I used to have cinder blocks with just like 2x8s, just wood, cinder blocks on my walls, just covered with books. I was a theater major as undergrad, so I used to read plays a lot. And remember, you could get like in the literary book club or they had one at theater book club. It was like those record clubs where you join and you pay like, I don't know, $5 up front, and they keep sending you all these books. Or no, you pay like a penny or something up front. So I had a lot of books. You don't show your shelves too often, Dave. Do you? Or
no, I don't. I could do that.
You ever do like a shelf tour?
No, I did like a little sort of mini one once, but no, I've never done a shelf tour. But I actually literally just got some more bookcases that I'm in the middle of putting together for downstairs. So maybe after I get that all sorted out, it's gonna be a big reorganization project. But
I understand. I mean, I've got 9 Billy bookcases.
Yeah,
and that's
get my teeth.
I also use the shelf extender on top of the Billy bookcases. So
yeah. Well, these are. I don't know if I guess I can try to turn this a little bit. These are these shelves. These are like built-ins that I did myself.
Okay.
After we moved in, but I have a bunch of other yeah, like in other rooms, I have like those are obviously those got filled quite some time ago. So I have some Billy, they're not Billy, but they're Billy style bookcases that I just got for down in the basement, and I have some other shorter bookcases in other rooms. So
Yeah, I think the Billy bookcase was a pure genius from whoever guy in Sweden who
yeah,
created it. That's been a staple since my 20s or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
I think Alan would love the Gothic Challenge. I will send you the information.
Okay.
Gothic
Great.
Hearts Challenge is done by Regina E.D. Lewis and D.L. Tilnery in February. It's a Gothic romance reading event.
Okay.
I don't think I'll be done with my 100 book challenge before then.
I might be if I keep on reading like I
I
am.
might be close.
Too. I want to get to this. Dave has a story in this, and I have 2
Yeah.
poems. Greg's read it. I think it's on sale now too for Black Monday or whatever, or it was 20% off. I should promote this book more because Brian Bookish has a story in it. Margaret Pinard, a lot of booktubers.
It's the best book of the year so far for anybody that hasn't tried it.
Yeah, it's up there with the Verses in War and Peace.
I think it's going to be in the running for the Booker.
Hey, it's in the running for like Pushcart Awards. I was on Holly about make sure you get it nominated for Pushcart. That's small press.
Yep, February is perfect month for Gothic romance. People saying great about the romance. Al, I make great use of audio bookmarks. I set the back button to about 15 seconds. Yeah, I think he's talking about. I was talking about how if your brain skips a second or two, like you're hopelessly lost.
Yeah.
Paul Moran. Hi, Brian. I'm not. I think he means Dave, not Brian. What an epic book haul the other day. You have a lot of SF anthologies. What are some of your favorite writers?
Well, for a while I've said that one of my favorites is Stephen Baxter, who wrote one of my favorite short stories that is in one of those SF anthologies. But I don't know. Adrian Tchaikovsky is starting to surpass him. I think he's really starting to become one of my favorites.
Okay, now that's the same Stephen Baxter that wrote the Manifold series.
Yeah.
I read that series. I think my favorite is Manifold Time. Out of that,
yeah,
that's where the same character it's the same character and similar events, but just totally different books, like different direction.
Yeah, it's been a while. Was Manifold Time the one where they sent? I don't want to spoil, but where they sent the creatures out to the Jupiter moons and
right.
Yeah,
and it also has a really great scene. I mean, it's not a huge spoiler, but where he goes through time travel, and it goes to the end of the universe.
Yeah,
where it's experiencing the heat death of the universe.
Yeah,
and I just thought that was a really great exploration in miniature of what our universe would really be like.
Yeah. Have you read his Time Ships?
No, that's his sort of sequel to the Time Machine.
Yeah, I feel like nobody's really knows about this book, which is surprising to me because it's like a bona fide sequel to the Time Machine. I'm surprised more people haven't read it.
Well, I have a slight issue about authors using other people's material, even though it's in public domain and it's legal, or even if they get hired, I just don't tend to like it too much.
Okay.
Because that's just not what the author's work. I mean, that the time machine ends in a certain way that Wells wanted it to end. It's a little ambiguous. It's open to interpretation. And here, I mean, now it's not saying that Stephen Baxter did a bad novel, but that's his interpretation of what happened after Wells' story.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wait,
want to comment about Bad's comment about the one before about her being Catholic.
Yep.
So that's going to be good. That's going to be a good in for you about with James Joyce, because I think Portrait is like undergraduate level, unless you're in like honors English in high school. I don't think I read Portrait till like I was in Kent State undergrad. That's all I wanted to say.
right.
But her reaction to reading Portrait.
So talking about the banning, get more
Just
banned
talking
books.
about Beloved, yeah.
I've actually read that one. So here's Angela. Yes, people go to school board meetings that have no kids in the district. They have the same talking points and all travel around complaining about.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, like I said, I mentioned that word. Your life is really sad if all you're doing is trying to get people not to read books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's MJ. I want to promote every single book. He wants to
Want to
ban.
do it too.
Well, MJ, I have the article from the Washington Post. I don't think it mentions everything, but I'll send it to you.
Wow. Cool.
You might be able to find out everything she wants to ban. I still been waiting to do a response to that Washington Post article. I know it's like 2 months old now, but it's just like I wanted to be really on the mark.
I haven't seen that, so if you're scanning and sending a copy, I wouldn't mind seeing it too.
Okay. I will probably have to cut and paste. The Washington Post is behind a paywall.
Oh, okay.
Now, usually they will allow you to have like 3-4 articles a month before they cut you off. But I can definitely just, if I can still get to it, yeah, I'll send that out to you too. Yeah, 24 and 24. I need to look up that lady. Well, that's what I want to do. The video is like, I want to tell this lady, is like, you can read books and enjoy them. You don't have to hate books and feel disgusted by them.
I hate you.
The guy that wrote an early English dictionary had a group of concerned ladies coming by and then thanked him for not putting the obscene words in the book. He thanked them for looking them all up.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a funny one, Al. That's a good one. Hey, Paul.
Here's Paul. It's 9:16 as I type this. Let's see how long it takes Greg to look it up. All right, just about 20 minutes. You have to understand that this is 3 guys talking about books, and we get distracted.
I'm trying to say a lot less than I was saying earlier.
No, the problem is like
so that you can get through it.
Is that we want to hear what you have to say. That's why we bring on guests, and that's why I'm trying to focus on people. What they say that you can answer things to. I have been reading banned books before it became a huge thing, but it is great to support the banned books. As long as you purchasing, they won't disappear. Well, I was just seeing another article that librarians say, when people ban books, they go flying off the shelves. Everyone wants to read them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened again when I was doing the first year of the 100 book challenge. I was in the middle of it, and Mouse got banned in Tennessee. And I said, well, I want to read that. I don't own it. And it was completely out of stock at Amazon. So I ordered it and said, I really hope this comes in after my challenge. And it did. So it didn't zing me on buying a book during my challenge. But yeah, I had read it before, but it's really such a great book. I think it should be like really required reading for young people because it teaches you what happened in history. And I know some people don't like kids learning what happened in history.
All right.
A state rep in Texas sent out a list of 850 books he had challenged to school districts. A lot of them actually pulled the books in fear instead of telling them where to put his list.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's happening everywhere. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, especially in the South.
Mm-hmm. I need to look at a list to see how many I own are banned. I'm sure I own 24.
Yeah.
Well, what I did is when MJ put out her list, there's the Library Association has a list of the top 100 banned books in a decade. And I just combined them all together and removed all the duplicates. So I have a list of about 240 books that have been officially banned.
Oh.
Wow.
Except that the people in the library aren't really good at entering data. So you will have one book with a couple different variations of the same title.
Right.
Oh.
Now the thing is, I cleaned up data as a professional when I was a computer programmer, so I think I cleaned up most of their mistakes. But
Yeah. I want to make sure I tell Nim to read. If you haven't, Nim, read Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I've read this book probably 5 times, and I'll read it again.
That's also a strong possibility for my 2024 is read that one again, because that's another good one.
People still want to ban it.
They do. Bad Red is really about keeping them on the shelves in libraries. I'm a retired school librarian, so stuff like this really pisses me off. You know, Angelia, it pisses me off too. And I'm not a librarian or really affected by the bans. We must read banned books. That goes for both sides. To Kill a Mockingbird is banned in some schools, not by the elephants. Yes. Both sides do occasionally like to ban books. Yes, I was very interested to learn that the last chapter in Clockwork Orange. MJ created the 24 books to read Nim. It is a challenge she created. Speaking of banned books, I don't think the Turner Diaries is legally banned, but Amazon won't sell it. Interesting. Well, I was actually going to have a little story about this. When I was working for Borders Books back in the early 90s, my job was actually to special order books that weren't carried on the shelves. And oddly enough, it was a full-time job for 2 people. Because this is before Amazon existed. So if you wanted a book, you went to a bookstore and you had to get it. But the Turner Diaries is an white supremacist novel about basically people that the white supremacists don't like uprising, and there's a huge internal war and really racist, all the worst things you can imagine in a book. So what happened is one day I came across this order card that someone had special ordered the Turner Diaries. And I went to the manager and I said, "You know what this book is?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you want me to go ahead and order this?" And she said, "I'll get back in touch with you." So she went to talk to the corporate headquarters asking, "Do we want to order this book?" And eventually came down and says, "You know something? It is not our job to say what books people can have or not have.
Exactly.
Even if we disagree with it.
Right.
We're a store that sells books and they want to order it. So I ordered it."
Exactly. I worked at bookstores too, and that's the bottom line. If it's legal to publish, I worked at bookstores that have like an adult section behind the curtain. I'm talking about legitimate bookstores here, people. But it's legal to publish it. So,
Right.
or even that book about the Anarchist Handbook.
Yeah, book. I have that on my shelves in this room or that room.
You do?
I have yet to build a bomb out of it yet. So
I'm not surprised.
the one thing when I ordered the Turner Diaries,
about him every day.
The book came with lots of white supremacist pamphlets and bumper stickers like White Power.
Wow.
I just put that aside and said, "You just get the book. You don't get all this other trash that comes with it."
Wow. Well, speaking of the Stygian Society, here's the button that anybody could get. Anybody could get this one, but Dave and I have the special button that only the Stygian authors have, and we also have a key. This key is good for when we go up to Montreal. We get free book. We have free boarding and lodging at Holly and Pace Place. But yeah, I liked your story in here, Dave.
Thanks.
The Oarsman. That was a cool idea about New York subways flooding in that, and then the Dante stuff. Have you you've read Dante? Then I know you've read the Inferno. Have you read Purgatorio and Paradiso?
No, the Inferno is the only one I read. I'm gonna have to start over when I I'm gonna put together, I think, those Mark Musa translations and then read the whole set together at once.
I have two versions of the Inferno. One is John Ciardi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that is on Kindle.
He's my favorite.
I remember what he did is he didn't keep the triple rhyme of the original Italian, but he kept
just the rhyme out.
He kept the double rhyme. It's 3 lines. He rhymed the first and third verse. And who's the guy I have here?
This one's a good version. It's in Italian and English. Now, Tommaso turned me on to this one too. And then this guy, Alan Mattelbaum, people look to him.
That's one I have right there.
What is it?
Yeah, no, this is just English. This is not English. The thing is, the Italian would be totally nonsense.
Yeah, it's this one. Right. Now, Robert Pinsky is a great poet. I like him as a poet. But I have all 3 of Mark Musa's translations. I really like him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But my favorite is John Cardy. It's my favorite. I have the whole comedian on that. I've been through that 3 times.
No,
you like that one too, Greg?
I have not. I have only read the Inferno, and I've read the Ciardi version and this version. I've never gotten the other 2.
Yeah.
So I know Tom at LA has a whole series of videos where he goes through each canto, book by book, and explains what goes. Because really,
now
there's so much that's lost in that book. Tomorrow, that Dante, when he says this guy is in hell, it's just not some guy. It's someone he knows or the public figure. He says he's going into hell for this, and totally lost to us.
Well, yeah, and you kind of have to know Virgil too. Virgil's a main character in it. Virgil and Virgil, he's not going to make paradise because he's dead before 1300.
Yeah.
And, you're not going to make paradise if you die before Jesus. Like Plato won't make paradise. You'll be in perpetual purgatory. But anyway.
Well, good night, MJ. I know you're probably gone. You quit at 9:21, so I'm 20 minutes behind.
Good night,
MJ. I'm going to try to see if I can catch up. Read what you know. I support books.
I was joking about this key too, by the way. We don't get free room and board, but
staying out of the opinion about parents' decision is a sensitive topic. but I'm staying out of the parents' choice or schools. Not to be controversial, but is it me when I say that no men doing book sprints? Is that just a ladies thing? I know it helps people, encourages reader to read together as a group. I've joined some book sprints, but I have never. We know, Alan. We did do one book sprint early on.
We did,
and it just kind of flopped as a show.
but I like Courtney's book sprints. I mean, and who else does? I used to do one with. I think she's in the Stygian collection too. I forget her name, but I don't mind sprints sometimes.
All right. Comment. Goodbye to Angelia. She's got to go to bed too.
Later, Angelia.
Brain forgettable moment. Sorry. Secret of Nim. Dave owns 1 million books.
I own 1 million books.
Todd, I've done sprints in the past, but it's very noisy where I live. Hard to get a quiet place.
I've always liked it. I've always been able to read with music or with a TV.
No, I can't.
In college, I'd sit and read it. It'd be like a deflection. I'd be the opposite. I'd be a different concentration. I don't know. I can read anywhere.
So, Fred, it's been fun. I have to head out. Goodbye, Fred. I know you're gone. Just saw this bad, but the Splatterpunk Western by Chandler Morrison might not make sense if you haven't read Dead Inside.
Huh.
Okay, well, I've read Dead Inside, so it's on my list. So anyone wanting to read Morrison Splatterpunk, satirical, meta-Western, at least read Dead Inside, or else you won't get half of it.
It's good to know.
Jim, I don't go out of my way to buy banned books, but I'm sure I've got a few on my shelf somewhere. I know you probably do. Lucky we've all read Dead Inside. The Anarchist Cookbook isn't banned, but if you buy it, the government will put you in a list. No joke. I don't know about you. I don't think the U.S. cares. I bought mine at Barnes & Noble early 90s, late 80s. So maybe I've dropped off their list by now, considering that I haven't built a bomb yet. One of the funny things is I've heard that the author got the instructions how to build bombs wrong.
Oh, is that right?
If you're building a bomb, you're more likely to blow yourself up than anyone else.
Yeah, just my luck.
Nim, I didn't even know Huck Finn was ever banned. Yeah, it gets banned. It gets banned for the wrong. Well, I think all books are banned for the wrong reason, but
it gets banned over the N-word.
Yeah. But you know what's really sad is the first time I read that book was a sophomore at university. We had a black college professor, and he assigned it. And he said, this is the word that was used. It was not used offensively at that time. And that was it. Now, was he secretly really bunged teaching that class and that word? I don't think so. I think he realized, it's just a word that was used back then.
I volunteered at a nursing home down south, and they like to be read to a lot. And they get sick of hearing the Bible all the time. So my partner said, let's read Huckleberry Finn. And at first I said, okay, let's do that. It's a great book. I like that book. I hadn't read it for a while. And I forgot how many N-words are in it. But when we come across one, you just skip it, And they didn't really care anyway. They weren't really paying attention to the story. So we just skip over the N-word. But I read that book as a youngster. It's one of the first adult novels I ever read.
So here's Nicole. I've read almost all of Chandler's books. My rankings are all rated 4 stars. Mine are as follows: Dead Inside, Along the Path of Torment, Hate to Feel, Thigh Gap, Just to See, Hell, Human-Shaped Fiends.
So Nicole really likes them.
Yeah. So Paul Morrison Hogg, no
Okay,
worries, Greg. You're here for the discussion. Well, thank you. If you oddly enough, this was done at 9:40, only 10 minutes behind. If you accidentally blow yourself up, the Anarchist Cookbook is for you.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. That's an interesting ranking, Nicole. Of course, the chat made it wonky looking, but I think the point makes sense. Hey, Alan, don't forget that the pagan Cato actually gets to chill in purgatory. He'll probably have to report back to everlasting perdition at the end of time, though. And that's our last comment.
You caught up.
I caught up.
Has anyone ever read this, Brick?
I have it on my shelf, but I have not read it.
I've got 2 copies of it. I don't know. I was going to read it with my friend in Norway, Celia, but she hasn't been making videos lately, like all year. Celia, I think she put up a short. I think she's like engaged or something.
Well, Alan, I will eventually read that with you. I just don't know. We have so many other books that are scheduled.
No,
Like 2025.
I know. I can't find the audio of this either. The print is pretty small, but it promises to be cool. It has a lot of maps in it. You know, I like maps.
Yep. And I hear that it really helps if you know your Dickens.
Oh, which I don't really. I only read David Copperfield and Tale of Two Cities and, you know, Christmas Carol. I read Great Expectations too.
So here's Nicole. My hubby had to read that book in one of his classes in the military.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Dave, now that we're done, let's get some other topics. What BookTube events are you looking forward to next year?
That's a good question.
Well, I'm looking forward to Horror Mayhem again. I had a great time with that. And I guess the ones I did this year was the first time I did any BookTube events. I did Horror Mayhem and Garb August, and I had a great time with both of those. So I'm looking forward to both of those again. Every year I keep telling myself I'm going to do Vaughn's June on the Range, but I never have. I get a book lined up and I never do it. But this year I'm going to read at least one Western in June.
Okay, there are a lot of. I mean,
Leonard.
I was not a big Western fan before June on the Range. I read a couple that would qualify, sort of like Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian, which is sort of, I mean, it's not considered a West. I mean, like a genre Western book, but it's set in the Old West. But I found a lot of Westerns are really kind of fun. It's actually sort of instructive about American culture, because if you listen, like, the Westerns were hugely popular at one time. It's like they had whole sections in bookstores, and Louis L'Amour just was pumping out those books. And oddly enough, it gave me an insight into gun culture, especially how
into modern gun culture,
and how I would say that the Western has probably influenced modern gold country, because you have these people saying, I can only survive with my gun. That's the only thing between me and death.
Yeah. Do you take my gun away from me when you pry my cold dead fingers off?
Well, that one wasn't part, but it's sort of implicit. So it's sort of historically interesting to see how we've gotten that culture that built up probably a lot through Westerns.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point.
Makes sense.
I buddy read the complete Westerns of Elmore Leonard with Ollie, and we really enjoyed it. 310 Uma is in there. I mean, all of them. And I'd bring it out and show you, like, the inside flaps are all the old magazines like Artisy and I forget the Western magazines. Greg might know them,
I
but
don't know.
when you could publish stories and like make some money. But yeah, Zane Grey, my son is named Zane. Who Max Brand? Who else, Greg?
Those are some of the big ones.
Yeah. What's that Johnston guy?
William Johnson.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Too big.
remember from my bookstore days. They're still popular. People buy them. I'd have to stock them all the time. The Westerns. I've got some Louis L'Amour I haven't read.
I picked up a Louis L'Amour. It's a bunch of short stories that he did, Western short stories.
Oh, good.
Figured that might be a good way for me to start.
It might be.
Yeah.
So Dave, are you going to try to do March of the Mammoths this year?
I don't tackle really long books, Greg. I'm too slow of a reader. I mean, I literally get scared away by any books that are too long.
Now, the Adrian Tchaikovsky books are about
In
600.
that case, Dave,
Yeah.
I have the book for you and the group read for you next year. Also in August. Hashtag Faulkner in August. Our sixth annual one. Our sixth annual one. We're doing it As I Lay Dying.
I do need to read that.
Yeah, so join us in August for that.
All right.
So Nicole is also, I'm excited for March for Irish Reads.
Oh yeah, that too. The Irish Readathon. They've been doing that for a few years. I take part in that sometimes. The Irish Readathon.
What mammoths you got lined up?
For me, I have not decided yet.
Shadowram.
Shadowram's a possibility. Last year we did we do the recognitions? No, we did recognitions in January.
January, yeah.
I don't remember what my mammoth was. The first year I did was War and Peace.
Oh.
And this year, I'm trying to decide if I want to go for something a little lighter. There's Ken Follett does some history books.
Mm-hmm.
He has one about the start of World War One. I'm thinking
yeah.
that might be it, but I'm not positive yet.
Hmm.
Yeah, me and Jeremy Fee. He's my Follett reading buddy. Now Nettie got us both psyched up to buddy read this, and then she got busy. So I'd like to get around to reading this someday. But that's only 600 pages. 600, yeah.
Yeah. So here's Brian. He's talking about, is Flannery O'January an event still a thing?
I don't know.
I don't know. That was really pushed by Noah at Everyone Who Reads It Must Converse. And I think he's sort of dropped off the radar. I don't know if he's going to be back or if he's taking a break or whatnot. Who is the other big one for Flannery O'January? I can't remember. Invite. Shelley. Hello. I was wondering if someone here can tell me where the War and Peace readathon in January will be held.
Yeah. I think Sean D. Stanfast and Mark at Book Time with Elvis are going to read this. I read it earlier this year. This is a great book, and it's very readable. Just you got to get used to the Russian names and all the princesses that they call like the same character different names. But after that, it reads like a soap opera. I really didn't annotate this up at all, but I took like notes. And but yeah, I'll reread it. But to answer your question, yeah, they're going to do that in January. Hopefully, I'm really pushing for it. And then Anna Karenina in February.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I've read 2 translations of War and Peace. I read the Maud translation, and that's like the latest Anthony Briggs translation. Hey, that's is that Pip?
That's Pip.
Yeah.
He
Hey,
came
Pip.
down to say hi to me.
Olive, you see Pip?
Pip is the 3-legged cat.
Pip is a 3-legged cat.
See Pip?
See, 3 legs.
Yeah, he gets around pretty well. but he can't jump on the table.
Yeah, he actually he runs better than he walks.
Huh.
Yeah, he runs.
How old is Pip?
He is turning 3 in February,
Oh, okay.
and he's my reading buddy. And when I sit down on the couch to read, he comes to sit with me. Okay, now you went down. Yeah, I'm not playing with you. Yeah, you went down. All right. All right. Westerns by self-published authors are pretty popular. I guess traditional publishing moved away from it as it became less popular, but indie Westerns are still going strong. Faulkner in August is noted. I had no idea about that one.
Yeah, it's our 6th annual.
A 6th annual.
Me and Brian at Bookish started that.
Yeah.
But
600
it was my idea, of course. Go ahead.
Jim, good evening, guys. It's been a good show.
Yeah, Jim, I'm
I
surprised.
was about to say, Nicole saying cats and pups, perfection. I'm saying we've been here 2 hours, so I'm thinking we should probably call it an evening.
Okay.
You got something, Dave? Finally, to mention.
The Stygian collection. Go buy the Stygian collection.
Well, Dave, I have to say, it's like when Alan was talking about rereading it. I had my Kindle. I don't have the Kindle Unlimited copy anymore, but your story was one of the few stories that I actually remembered.
Oh, okay. I hope that's a good thing.
well, you remember from any short story collection. If you read 20 stories, you're only going to remember 4 or 5 of them. Yeah. Most of them just pass you by. But I remembered the boating trip in the tunnels of New York.
Oh.
Yeah, my poems. He doesn't remember.
Alan, I can't.
Well, that's just a given.
My poems.
Yep. And Nicole's heading out too. Okay.
See you, Nicole.
Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate you coming over, Dave. And
thanks,
Dave.
And Olive spending the whole night in the chair.
Yeah. You want to wake up? Hey, you want to wake up to say goodbye? Hey, come here. No?
Olive was really nice tonight.
Yeah, I really appreciate you inviting us on, guys. This was a good time.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun.
It is.
It goes by fast.
All right. Because officially the show's supposed to be an hour, but
it never goes an hour.
It always goes long.
Can't stop good conversation, right?
No. As I said, I always kind of wish that this could be done at a pub and you're sitting there with beers and chicken wings, but
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to call that an end, everyone. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming by.